Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing this Picasso BW Carbon Magnum Speargun. Let's dive right in. Today's example is a 120, so on the longer end of this model. But we're going to be going from tip to trigger to the base. Let's dive in. Let's start from the bottom. So the trigger mech is all stainless steel, as you would expect from a gun like this. One thing I noticed compared to other guns, for example, a Pathos trigger mechanism and handle and some other guns, the Picasso, the finger well or the room you have in the trigger and also the trigger itself is much larger than what I've seen on other guns. For example, this is the Pathos trigger well or the trigger and the handle. You can see in comparison, comparing the two, they're right on top of each other. The bottom is the Picasso here and then the Pathos right here. You can just visibly see a difference in size in trigger and handle. And also comparing to this Spear America blue water gun. This is a tuna gun. You can just see the trigger right there. And right below is the Picasso. So just visually, you can see that it's much larger in terms of the actual trigger its size and the handle and the space. But one thing I noticed there, outside of that, the trigger pull is really nice and light. It's really sensitive, so that's what you want, though it's a little bit bigger and a little further away in terms of index reach. That really hot trigger makes it easy to line up your shot and shoot. Speaking of trigger and releases, the release is built into the frame. It comes out of the frame handle of the spear gun, so it comes out right here. This is a little bit different as well compared to other spear guns that I've seen. Usually I see a side release coming out of the top, either side. This one comes out kind of through the handle housing right here. And of course on the other side, you can see the hole of where you could swap it out to the left side. But just for comparison's sake, since we're doing this, here is a Pathos release, line release, right up top, what you might be familiar with seeing. And then here is the Picasso. It's a little different there. Next up, moving to the grip area, a really nice feel. I can definitely say this is one of the more comfortable grips I've felt, especially with a glove on. This extra room and kind of oversized trigger area would be really nice. And then coming to the butt, this one straight out of the box doesn't come with any sort of padding or rubberized material to prevent slip. It's just this just bare area in the back, so when you load from the hip or on the chest, just keep that in mind if you buy the spear gun. If you want to put something on there, you can, but straight out of the box, it just comes bare. So just keep that in mind. And lastly, in this general area is this loop at the bottom they provide. Stainless steel material. Obviously, when you're going to be in the water, you want it to be. But it's really nice if you want to tie a float line or a clip or something like that. It's already built in to the handle versus just a hole on many other guns where you have to feed some cordodynema or something else to attach to a float line. So really nice there. Moving on, this one in particular does not have a reel, but if you were to have a reel, you add it right there, portion right there. And then moving on to the kind of the main event of this spear gun, which is this barrel. So the barrel is an open track spear gun. So what that means is there's no tube or no kind of place where the shaft can enter. It's kind of just cradled in this, it's just cradled with this spear gun. In the carbon rail logo on the Picasso gun, it gives you an idea of how it's shaped. So that little ring shape right there, just think of it as if they cut the spear gun in half. Right up there, it kind of hugs the shaft like this. But a really nice design. It's hand painted in Portugal. As you can see right there, it is very nice. It looks beautiful. Carbon fiber, so it's extremely light and durable and sturdy. On top of that, you get the Picasso gold shaft. And for those of you that are not familiar, if you see this kind of bronze-ish gold tint to a Picasso shaft, usually that means that is the Picasso gold shaft. Why is that important? It's because it is the strongest, or if not one of the strongest shafts on the market currently. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's one of the strongest. It's, of course, there's always the potential to bend if you're catching a big fish, or if it, like a cabrilla or a grouper shoots under a rock, but this is one of the toughest shafts on the market, which is very, very nice to have. Moving on to the muzzle area right there, we have two 16 mil rubbers attached to this guy. And since this is an open muzzle system or open track system, you're going to use the mono or whatever line you have to keep this shaft in place right there. And right in front, if you want to move the line release from left to right, you have these cutouts here so you can adjust and feed the line through accordingly. But yeah, pretty simple setup, a beautiful, beautiful gun from Picasso. Yeah, I just really like this oversized area. I don't see a safety anywhere, so that's something to keep in mind as well. This gun doesn't have a safety as far as I can tell, but a really beautiful gun. Given that it's a carbon gun, let's see what it weighs. So keep in mind, this is a 120 length. So it's a pretty good length. And we are only at 3.86 pounds. Extremely light for this length of a gun. I think most of the weight honestly is coming from the bands, but a really, really light setup, especially if it's reel or just going for a float line. Yeah, I mean, it's extremely light compared to some of the other guns. I think my Pathos Sniper, which is not a carbon, but it's an 85, actually weighs, it does have a reel, but it weighs about a pound or so more. But a really nice setup, nice light gun, but a beautiful gun from Picasso. I hope this was helpful in your shopping experience if you're looking at this gun or some other ones in comparison. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.